Hey buddies, concert buddy. Video I'm putting out. This video is probably going to split into a couple parts, but I'm going to walk you through some records or some things that I would like to see pressed on records, some great albums from my past and past experiences that I still don't know why they haven't been put on vinyl. So stick around, cue that lever. I'll see you after the break. So buddies, if you're like me, there are certain albums in your collection or albums in your life that are real head scratchers, why they've never been pressed to beautiful, beautiful vinyl. I have a nice little list of albums that I just don't get why they're not on vinyl, especially now with the vinyl renaissance and, another point of distro to bring these albums to a whole new generation of listeners or folks who maybe missed them the first time or two around. The inspiration for this video and this idea, concept, whatever you want to call it, is on some of the message boards. Vinyl Me Please, let's start there. They're doing a really great job. I'm just going to side note, they're really putting out some real heaters with their releases of late, particularly in the country genre. If you're not familiar, Vinyl Me Please is a subscription vinyl service. I'm actually going to have more to talk about them in future videos coming up. But anyway, they're bringing things to the masses that have either been long out of print, never printed to begin with, great color variants, etc., etc., etc. So, on a lot of online boards and forums, there are what they're calling Press Me Please requests. Now, I don't know if anyone from Vinyl Me Please is seeing these, but still the spirit of the exercise is something I can liken to what I'm about to talk about now. I would love if it's Vinyl Me Please or Magnolia, a private pressing subscription service. Run Out Groove is another one I'm thinking of that's bringing long-lost titles to life. Whoever it is, I don't care. No discrimination. I would just love to see some of these albums brought to vinyl, made the sound terrific. Now, side note, I think several of these albums I'm going to talk about over these videos are probably digitally sourced because a lot of them are from like the 90s and the early 2000s. But as a label like Music on Vinyl overseas has done, you can actually make some great sounding records that are digitally sourced, come to life on vinyl. The Alice in Chains Unplugged is a great example, terrific sounding record. So, all that said, let's get into the list.
You don't have to come and confess that you did it. We're looking for you. We gonna find you. I'm letting you know now, so you can run and tell that, homeboy.
Number one, and this isn't necessarily my number one draft pick. If I could choose any of these titles, this would be my first of first. This is just the first one. As I was compiling this list over the last couple weeks and months, this is the first one that really stuck out to me, and that is the 2006 self-titled, well, it's not self-titled, it's his first release, I should say, by Paolo Nutini, a Scottish guy who released an album called These Streets. And had some songs on radio. I know he's still making albums now. In fact, some of his later catalog, even stuff he's done recently, has been put to vinyl. So, not really sure why his debut album, arguably his most commercially successful album, hasn't found that treatment. I would probably think has something to do with the record label. Again, speculation.
How much more betrayal can I take?
But this album is just fantastic. Like, the first track, Jenny, Don't Be Hasty, kind of sets a real up-tempo tone, but also kind of an understanding where the album's going to come, and even where the singer-songwriter really is trying to make his mark in the love songs, the angst of love. I think probably the signature hit on this one would be Last Request. That was, or New Shoes. It's kind of a toss-up. But you go Jenny, Don't Be Hasty into Last Request, Rewind, A Million Faces, and then you hit These Streets, which I personally enjoy a lot. Then New Shoes and White Lies. Loving You is really this soulful type of just get to you kind of love song. But anyway, These Streets by Paolo Nutini. No idea. This was made in 2006. No idea why we can't use the paddles and bring it to vinyl life.
I'm by winning.
So the next couple albums I'm going to talk about are from the same artist. And if you've been watching my channel or know me from, I don't know, real life, YouTube life, Instagram life, whatever, you know that I'm a fan of David Gray, the singer-songwriter, who has a really, actually now, taking a step back, a pretty solid and lengthy discography at this point. A couple years ago, they finally put his probably signature, most famous album, White Ladder, on vinyl. They did a couple different treatments. They actually did it on white vinyl, which I thought was clever. Vinyl Me Please, again, like I talked about in the open. Did a 45 RPM release, probably my favorite, probably sounds the best. You know, I'm a sucker, so I bought that. I bought the white vinyl. I bought the little bitty box set. So anyway, check that box. That had been one that was my number one draft pick for the longest time. But now that that's out of the way, and if you've seen previous videos I've done, one of my most, we call it rare records, is an early David Gray record that I won't get into here. But anyway, it's been done before, and then I think starting, probably 2011, I want to say Draw the Line. Every album since Draw the Line has been issued on vinyl. So again, this is kind of like a desert, a vinyl desert of why releases. 2011 on, he went back and did White Ladder. So all that said, one title I would be super stoked to see on vinyl is the 2002 release. It was the follow-up to White Ladder and the success that came with it. It's A New Day at Midnight. This is an album that a lot of the songwriting took place after his father had passed away, so there's a lot of melancholy vibes to it, but arguably some of his best songwriting takes place in this, as he kind of was coming off the immense fame and celebrity and praise that came with White Ladder, which is a great album. But there's a lot of really, really great songs on here. The album kicks off with Dead in the Water, which is it sounds very similar to the White Ladder kind of vibe. Real Love is probably one of the takeaway tracks that still make it into a set list now. The Other Side closes this album. It is just so haunting. I can't even do it justice trying to describe it, speak it into words. Be Mine is a very popular title. So there's a lot of fan-friendly tracks that come on this release. But again, 2002, not a lot of vinyls being pressed. Makes sense at the time why it didn't get a proper release. But hey, vinyl renaissance, y'all. Let's make it happen. White Ladder hopefully sold very well. I don't think it's easy to find one of the reissues at this point, or maybe it is. I haven't looked again because I have them now. But it's time. If it's the publishing, if it's the label, whatever the bottleneck is, this would be a terrific album to put out there again for the masses and for the David Gray super fans like myself. All right, so continuing the David Gray, please press this on vinyl record celebration, announcement, decree, whatever you want to call it, I think is the follow-up to A New Day at Midnight, 2005's Life in Slow Motion. Now, I don't think among longtime fans this is one of the top 3 albums. Maybe it is, I don't know. To me, it's top 3, top 2. It's one of my absolute favorite albums, not just of David Gray's, but just singer-songwriter in general. And I remember when this came out, obviously I had the CD. It came in an enhanced CD, because back in the 2000s and even late 90s, they would give you a CD, and then you could take these CDs and sometimes put them into your computer, your desktop computer.
You ever visited a truck stop?
They'd have enhanced content. There'd be behind the scenes stuff and maybe a bonus song. So there was always a little kind of add-ons, kind of like they do now with vinyl, with variants, different artwork and the jackets, depending on who the retailer is, all these little kind of nuances. And I appreciate that it's really thoughtful. That said, this album, again, one of my absolute favorites of David's. I just saw him, 2 months ago. He's post-COVID finally getting around to touring on the White Ladder 20th anniversary tour, 2 years behind. But it's really cool because it's kind of broken out into 2 different sets. The first is just a mix of greatest hits type of stuff. And then the second is White Ladder from start to finish. But again, White Ladder's already been pressed on vinyl. It's not on this list. But bring it up because When I saw him here in St. Louis, he led with Alibi was part of that greatest hits thing, and then Hospital Food, one of my absolute favorite songs, top 10 of all time. I don't know if other people would agree to that, but I don't know, it just really resonates with me. But Alibi, the one I love lately, this is, again, if you really want to like put on some jams that appeal to the females and appeal to the sensitive side of you, like David just knows how to do it. Again, Ain't No Love, Hospital Food, my favorite. From Here You Can Almost See the Sea, which wasn't a song I was really into when the album came out, but it's grown on me over the years. So Life in Slow Motion, another album that I would love to see get the vinyl treatment. It doesn't have to be a variant. A nice gatefold would be fantastic if I'm splitting hairs here. But again, please, whoever's out there in the universe, I'm speaking it to truth, speaking it into existence. Let's get these David Gray records on vinyl. Stat. Okay, another one that's really surprising to me that is not on vinyl comes from Lenny Kravitz. Now, Lenny has pretty much his full discography on vinyl at this point, and I say pretty much. And he's even reissued some of the original titles. They did a couple of years ago, I think it's 2018, 17, 18. They did some reissues on some colored vinyl, yada, yada. Even his most recent albums, I think the last 4 or 5 upon release, vinyl was part of the release package. But for some reason, the 2004 release of Baptism is not on vinyl. I don't understand why. It's from Virgin, Records, the Virgin record label. Had, I thought, a decent reception. There's, probably the signature song on this one is Lady, which is kind of like this, like a slow, a very calculated song. I think they even had it like in a Gap commercial or something with Sarah Jessica Parker. I remember that at the time. But it's a really cool song. California is a great song. And this is Where Are We Running, which is a song I know when I've seen Lenny in concert before. They play that. So this is again, leaving money on the table, folks. Virgin, Lenny, do it.
And ka-ching, we're making money, 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 money.
Let's get this on vinyl. Let's complete that discography and have everything on vinyl. Hey, you know what would be even great? Having this on red vinyl. I'm helping you out. I'm giving you these ideas because it's like easy money. But Lenny Kravitz, Baptism, another record that has to come into existence. Please, please, please. So, what records or what albums, again, mixing these up. I'm so vinyl focused, I just call things records generally. What albums are out there that are on your list that you would love to see get the vinyl treatment? It doesn't have to be a variant, it doesn't have to be bells and whistles, special edition. Just please put it on vinyl. And that's good enough for me. I would love to hear, please put some feedback in the comments. I love interacting with you guys on the comments. For the most part, it's a very healthy dialogue. Every once in a while you get a chucklehead, knucklehead, but it is what it is. It comes with the territory of giving the people what they want, and sometimes it's not what the people want, and they let you know about it, and that's all good. So, buddies, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I look forward to hearing back from you on this. If you get some time, like, subscribe, tell a friend, tell your grandma, tell your dog, I don't know. Would love to get more eyeballs on the channel. Need your help on that one. So, if you get the chance, just spin it. See you next time.
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
Well, we out of time.